In this video, I'm going to answer a message from a woman who has told me that she's in a sexless marriage and her husband doesn't want to sexually satisfy her. Now, before I read out this woman's message, her message is a little bit long. Before I read out the message and before I share my advice specific to her situation, I just want to preface this video by saying, not long ago, I made a video about the opposite. So where if a husband is in a marriage and his wife regularly refuses intimacy, what should the man do in that situation? And one of the things I mentioned in that video is for the man to find out why his wife is refusing intimacy, such as, is she struggling with a medical condition or a hormonal condition? Is it things like relationship issues? There are so many different reasons. Is it painful for her? So, and then I got a little bit of backlash from that video where some men were annoyed at me suggesting that the husband should do what he can to find out why she's refusing intimacy. Now, in the context of this video and the message I'm going to read out for you, it is evident and it is clear that the wife has already found out from her husband why he's refusing intimacy. And I'm going to get into that now. So just kind of saying that I try to be as fair as possible. I'm going to read out the message now. As I mentioned, it's a long message, so hopefully you can bear with me as I read out the message. And then at the end, I will share my advice. Now, this woman has given me permission to read out her message and to provide advice via video. She's also said that she is going to be quite interested in comments. So if you have comments about this situation, please leave your comments in the comment section, but please make sure that when you leave a comment, try not to be reactive. Just pause for a moment. Sometimes when I read out messages, people can get a little bit angry. So just pause before you comment. Just pause, reflect, and then comment. Okay, assalamu alaikum. I followed you a little bit and your posts always resonate with me. One of your last DM Q&A posts really hit home, as I am in a truly sexless marriage. My husband has not had marital relations with me in almost 4 years this time, which is the longest period yet where she hasn't had marital relations. Times leading up to this were 9 months, 1 year and 2 months, 1 year and 6 months, 1 year and 8 months. This time, which is 4 years, 4 years is a huge amount of time. This time, obviously being the longest yet. It's torturous for me. I have always respectfully expressed my need and the need to fix this issue due to the emptiness, the distance it's caused in our marriage. I have also grown very resentful of my husband because despite my patience and expressing my need, he doesn't do anything to remedy the situation. He discovered years ago that he has low testosterone levels, but only recently, when I involved a sheikh to seek help before divorce, did he look into it. This was almost 2 years ago. I understand that hormonal issues will remove the desire completely, but knowing that the desire being removed does not make the duty to please one's spouse null and void. So I think she's saying, like, just so it's still possible to satisfy your spouse, even if you are going through a hormonal issue. There's so many different ways to sexually satisfy your spouse. It goes for both man and woman. It's not always about one type of sex. Most people see sex or sexual satisfaction as just penetration. Even if, you know, the husband is struggling with low testosterone, he could still satisfy the wife, even if he's not able to go inside her. And I'm sure a lot of you can use your imagination and understand what I'm trying to say. I'm in my early 40s, and as we know, most women peak sexually around this age. It's been so difficult, and because the desire hasn't been removed from me, I don't understand why, after expressing my need, my husband does not find ways to bring me pleasure. The testosterone and other blood flow issues has affected his body so that his erections aren't the same, or maybe not even there, but why neglect me when before this issue he would also use other ways? That's what I was referring to before. It's still possible for her husband to sexually satisfy her, even if he's not able to get erect and even if he has low testosterone levels. So the woman says, if I were to be the one with the issue, there is no way I would ever leave him to himself, especially after he expressed his need. I am strongly considering divorce, not just because of the lack of sex, but there is no longer a connection between us. And to be completely left to myself when he's home almost all the time and makes no effort to bring me pleasure. It's like he doesn't care if he's not interested or benefiting just as much. So I guess what she's saying is if he's not able to be sexually satisfied, he's not interested in sexually satisfying his wife. If the roles were reversed, a woman would no doubt be expected to accommodate her husband's need however she could, or the husband would go and get multiple wives. We don't have that option. It's either suffer or destroy our family unit with divorce. He prioritizes money going to other things, but has not thought it important enough to raise the money for TRT. When he did mention getting it soon, it was so that he could be strong for a trip, with no regard to the fact that it could save our marriage. At this point, even if he gets it fixed, I feel so neglected, unheard and undervalued that I don't know that it will matter. He's always home, so that makes my resentment grow, seeing and hearing him all the time. And when he's not around, I can forget for a moment, but he works from home, as do I, so it's always here and very heavy. I'm in between work at the moment, but I'm really at a crossroads and I'm becoming so angry with him. So the number one question I have, which is related to the advice I want to give, is, and I don't know whether this woman has asked her husband this question, but the number one question I have is why? Why doesn't the husband want to sexually satisfy his wife? What are the reasons? Are there relationship issues? What are his thoughts and beliefs about sexual satisfaction in marriage? Does he know that it's part of his duty Islamically to sexually satisfy his wife? Some people have cultural misconceptions that only the husband's sexual satisfaction matters, but that is not true. That's not from Islam. Sexual satisfaction is important for both spouses, the man and the woman. So my question is why? And it would be really important for any woman in this situation to have that conversation with the husband and ask him why he doesn't feel the need to sexually satisfy her. Why does he not want to sexually satisfy the woman? And then from that, you can then make a decision moving forward. Is it simply for the fact that he just really doesn't care? And if that's the case, if he really truly doesn't care, and it's been a long time and she's done her due diligence, such as going to get advice from a sheikh and so on, if it's truly that he doesn't care about his wife's needs, then that is really important to reflect on as a woman. Is it worth staying in a marriage where after so long, the husband doesn't care about satisfying the wife's needs? And before any man kind of, has a go at me, I would say the same thing to women. If a woman, after a long time, is not doing anything about her situation, if she's struggling with a hormonal issue or whatever the case may be, and she goes years and years and years and just really doesn't care about sexually satisfying her husband, then I would say the exact same thing. Like, why? Is that the type of marriage that we're meant to be in? When Allah tells us in the Quran that the purpose of marriage is tranquility, and what this woman has described is like the opposite of tranquility. So if it's relationship issues, then it would require seeking marriage counseling or marriage therapy if you haven't done that already. That can be that kind of in Islam they say divorce should be a last resort. If you haven't sought marriage counseling or therapy, that's something that I would suggest. Now, if the husband doesn't want to get the marriage therapy or counseling and he doesn't want to pay for the TRT, and you've exhausted all of your options that you are aware of in terms of trying to resolve this situation, then from an Islamic point of view, it is Islamically allowed to get divorced from your spouse, especially because it's been such a long time and she's trying her best. It is Islamically allowed to get divorced from your spouse if there is a lack of sexual satisfaction. At the time of the Prophet ﷺ, a woman was allowed to divorce her husband because she was not sexually satisfied by him. Now, the woman who messaged me has already said that she's been considering divorce. It's been so long. I'm not saying to this woman that she should get divorced. I'm a bit careful when I say things like that. But what I am saying is this is the way that I give advice, is by asking the person who messaged me to reflect. Are you happy remaining in a marriage for so long, where for so long your husband is not willing to get the treatment to satisfy you? But not only that, you mentioned that in the past he used other ways, and right now he doesn't even want to do the other ways to satisfy you. So if he's not willing to do anything to sexually satisfy you, are you willing to stay in that type of marriage?